Hello everyone, I hope this video finds you well. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I thought I'd pop by with a card to showcase how you can use stamps that don't look seasonal at all, but you can just use them in a variety of ways. So in my previous video I did 1.5 hours worth of content to show you how my new October release could be used in lots of different ways with lots of different backgrounds. Now, what I thought was this time we'll create a Christmas card with my October release, and none of it says Christmas, but I thought we would. Nice, easy idea. So I've got a piece of Pink Frog smooth card, 300 GSM. I love a 300 GSM card. I like to have a nice sturdy card, so it's one of those cards that stands up beautifully on the mantelpiece. I've then got another piece of white card that will be the matte, that is 4.25 by 6.25, and then I've got a white card blank 5 by 7. So we'll begin with this piece, and I haven't got everything out because that's typical Tracy. I just get on with the video. So I need my, don't want this in the colours, or can you tell Tracy can't make her mind up? Tracy can't make her mind up at all. We'll see. We'll see. What we'll do is we'll do the other bit first, and then you'll understand me because I can't make my mind up. So I've got my circle templates, and I think I'm going to go for a large circle. This is about 3 3/4 or 3 1/4, but you can see how large that is. So we'll just have that there, and I'm going to have to measure it, aren't I? Because Tracy can never remember. It's 3 1/4 inches. I do it every time. Start to begin the project and then realise I have to do measurements. Now I'm going to use colours that I've got on my don't want Twisted Citron. I'm going to use colours that I'd already got on my desk. So I'm going to use maybe them 3. So let's move this up so you can see. I'm thinking of Twisted Citron, Mowed Lawn and Peacock Feathers. So those are the colours. So I'm just going to grab some pieces of cut and dry foam. So that's green. What have we got? We've got a bluey colour. So I could use a brush for that one. And then we've got Twisted Citron. So we could just use this one for both of them. And then I can get it all over my hands because I'm good like that. So what I'm going to do is I've got this cut out of a piece of white card. I will probably have to cut this out of some copy of paper as well. I'm just testing because I know these are getting a little bit. I've used this template now. I literally just grabbed a piece of card, and I often cut lots of circles out of them. And I use them so much. I've probably been using this template for about 8 months now, and it gets a bit tatty after a while. But there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to blend some of the colour just around my circle. Just add some of that colour around the circle. And don't worry too much about blending or anything at the moment. Just get that colour down at the moment. So I'm just going to blend the Twisted Citron. There we go. Just with my cut and dry foam. So that's my Twisted Citron. I'm then going to use a little touch of Mowed Lawn. So let's grab some Mowed Lawn. Use the same piece. So we'll grab some Mowed Lawn. And what I'm doing is I'm just sort of going over the same area several times. And I haven't sort of added more ink. I've literally just use the amount that I've added there, and I didn't add much ink, to be honest. And then what I need to do is just go back to the twisted citron and just blend the colours lightly together. There we go. And then I'm going to add a little bit of peacock feathers. So I'll have a little bit of the peacock feathers. Just to give, I'm just going to let go of that. I don't know why I'm holding on to it so tightly. So I'm just grabbing the peacock feathers, and then I'm going to add a little bit of that blue to my project. Now, I often find, if you look now, the brushes, which they're designed to do, they add layers very lightly. It's very light, but for me, I want it to be a little bit deeper than that. So let's grab a piece of cut and dry foam, and because the cut and dry foam is dense and so is a sponge, it picks up the colour. It's a lot richer, and it applies the colour in a lot richer. Look at that. It's definitely a lot richer when you apply it with the cut and dry foam. Obviously with the brushes, if you want a nice, just gentle feathered look, you can get that with the brushes. So I'm just adding, there we go. And we'll just lift that up, and then we've got a beautiful, beautiful blend. So I'm going to just move that out of the way. I'll grab a piece of copier paper. Let's grab a piece of that copier paper, which is enormous. Just grab a pencil. And I could have had this prepared beforehand, but I didn't. Because more often than not, I'm doing 100 things at once, and I come and do a demonstration and then think, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. But then for me, I'm like, well, I'm not going to prep, I'm just going to enjoy the process of creating. So I'm going to cut out the inner bit, working on the inside of the circle. Just cut around. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I've just cut on the inside. So if I bring that in now, I can then just place that circle over the top just to protect what I've already done. Just so that it doesn't, you know, we don't get in a mess. Now, I'm going to use my Scarecrow stamp set. And the reason I designed stamps is I want stamps to be versatile. And that word is bandied around quite frequently. We all say, you know, we want our stamps to be versatile. But the reason I do so many videos is to show just how versatile stamps are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the little gate. So let's grab, I'm going to grab my border acrylic block and just take the gate. And then black ink. Why didn't I pick my black ink up? Make sure I've got the right one. I often put a date at the bottom of my VersaFine Claire just so that I'm using the juiciest ink pad, especially with the Nocturne, because I do so much creating. I use that all the time. And it's only a little stamp, but you can see I still add plenty of ink. So I'm just going to add this. Do I just want it just to come down a bit? So I want it so there's just a suggestion of that gate there. And I'm just going to give that time just to soak into there. If, like me, you put this little stamp on a long acrylic block, if you put another stamp at the bottom of the acrylic block, that will stop the rocking for you. So, and the reason I've used copier paper, because here, where the end of the circle is, if I'd used 300 GSM, well, it wouldn't have worked because there'd be a ridge on there. There we go. So what I'm saying is, here, where the white circle is, if I move this now, if I'd have used the 300 GSM, there'd have been a ridge there and I would have missed some of that stamping. So that's why I'm using the copier paper. So what I'm going to do then is on the, let's put that one back. I've still got the ink pads all out here. Let's place that one back, like so. So this is all from the Scarecrow set. And then I want to use the little bird that's on the Scarecrow set, which is this one here. So I want to use the little bird. There are a lot of stamp sets that you can use that are not, they've not been designed so that they're one-trick ponies. They've been designed so that you can use them over and over again. So I can just stand my little bird on there. So we'll take the bird. There we go. So we'll just take our little bird on there and just stamp him on there. I don't really need the copier paper there really, because it's not like I'm going over the edge of the circle. And I'm just going to give that time to soak in to the card. I don't rush that, and if you remove that you can see what we've got so far. Just lovely. Right, so now let me just move these all out of the way. I'm going to use, it's Acer Officer, and you can see it's an A6 stamp set. I'll take this off the acrylic block now. Not the acrylic block, the plastic. What am I talking about? And now I'm going to use a big acrylic block just so I can use that. I can move this out of the way so you can just see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to use a little bit of Verdant. Now I'm going to use, let's bring this in. It's really easy trying to keep everything in so that you can see it. I'm going to use the bottom half of the stamp. So just the bottom half of the stamp. So move out the way. Just this area here, or some of it. So I'm going to use my Verdant VersaFine Clair ink, which is permanent. And I'm inking way more than I need to. And then I'm going to use some Shady Lane, just to add some darker green. And then I'm going to add some Acorn, some little touches of Acorn, and I'm sort of pressing very lightly. Now let's bring this down, let's bring this here so you can see. So thankfully I'm using an ink with a good open time. Let's just move these out of the way and let's just cover the top of that card. It's only a little bit, but I know what I'm like. So I'm then going to use, let's have that there. So you can see I'm just using the bottom bit of the stamp. So just because a stamp is totally A6 doesn't mean I can't just use little bits of it, especially if I'm sort of masking off the area so that I'm just stamping within the circle. And I'm just stamping and allowing that ink to absorb into there. So just give that time. So I'll just leave it that and just leave it that. I'm using a huge acrylic block and you can see I've just got little touches of the leaf. Let me show you. You can see that I've just got little touches of that leaf, which I absolutely love. You don't want to overpower it because I'm going to make it Christmassy. So you don't want to overpower that. That's why we're using these colours. So now I'm going to use these leaves here. So the verdant is not going to show up, you know, too dark. But I'm going to, now it's a bit darker down here, so we'll use the Shady Lane. Use that Shady Lane. And then we'll use a bit of the Acorn. Use a little bit of that Acorn. Just make sure I'm covered up. And then I've just got 2 of those leaves there. Let's just, and this is where I faff more than anything. So, you know, you want it to be classy. So I'm not sort of having anything too overpowering. And again, the type of design, it doesn't matter if you miss little bits. Just so that you can see. Let me just hold that up for you. Just so that you can see that. Lovely. So we'll just place that on one side. No, I won't. We'll start here now. Let me look. So, no, I want... What do I want? Right, so now you have to think about it sometimes, what you're doing. So let's just cover all that up. So now I'm going to ink some of the middle area. So I'm going to ink some of the leaves. I'm going to ink way more than I need, but that's me all over. I'm going to use some of the Shady Lane. A little bit of the Acorn. And I can't tell what I'm going to stamp, so that's why I've inked way more than I actually want, and why I've got some copier paper as well. I might just have them 2 leaves. This is what I'm like all the time. I often and ah about what I'm doing, but that's me all over. And I've got ink over my non-stick craft sheet, obviously, because I've inked way more than I need to. There we go. Brilliant. See, this is what I want. I wanted the subtlety, and that is beautiful. Just love the fact it's just subtle enough and just enough on there. So let's grab, no, we haven't got it here. So let's take a micron pen and just make it so that it's our bauble, because we want to make sure that we've sort of got that bauble shape. And then let's make a little bit of a fancier top. So let's just colour our little top in. Let's make that a little bit. There we go. So just creating a top for my bauble. Just so that we've got a little top. You only need to scribble that on. It's absolutely fine. Let's take our circle again. And let's take the Scarecrow. So let's take that Scarecrow. Where are we? Not the Scarecrow. Where's my little... Oh, do you know, I'm looking for my bird and it's already on the little stamp. So we'll take the bird again. And just, there we go. Let's just add the bird down here. And again, I've got that oxide ink down there, so I'm just making sure that that just sits in there beautifully. Just leave that there. Just that, got a little bit on there. So I'm then going to bring this back again. Bring this back. Where's my, I'm then going to take my 30 days stamp set. You can get all these stamps from All and Create. I'll add my affiliate link to the description box. You can use my affiliate link and there is a 7th birthday discount. Let me see if I can find you the 7th birthday discount. Let me find it now. Of course, why did I say that? Not that one. Let me see if I can, oh, it might be on there. Yep. You can enjoy 20% off by using the code 7, no space, and then birthday. And I'll add my affiliate link to the description box and you can get 20% off. I knew there was something I had to mention. Right, so, did I pull that stamp out? I didn't, did I? So I'm using my 30 days stamp set. So stamp set 922. Spend more time making sure bits of plastic are okay than anything. So let's just, now I don't want some text outside. No, I don't. I like the cleanliness of it. And I'm talking to myself, but there you go. Let me just check. I think I'm just going to add, so let's use this. Move that out of the way. And let's use the Shady Lane ink. Then what we'll do is we'll stamp the first generation off and then we'll just add a little bit of stamping, just delicately, a little bit around the bauble. So I've stamped with Shady Lane, sort of press it very lightly and then just stamp. You can see I'm hardly touching that, just so that I've got a very delicate touch of text there, not too much, just a delicate touch. So let's add a little bit of opulence to that. So I've got my quickie glue pen. Oh, I've chucked everything on the floor. What I do is I just reach for something and then I fling everything off on the floor. So I'm just going to make sure that quickie glue pen works. Oh, it's a good job I did, because that one doesn't. You have to, with the quickie glue pens, you'll get like a plastic tip on the end. These were all working at the weekend. Absolutely fine. I go to do a video and it's the one thing that isn't working. Why won't we quickie? Oh, it is. Right, so I've got my quickie glue pen and I'm going to just use the quickie glue pen just here and there and just a few little dots just to give a little bit of, just a little bit of opulence to the card. So I'm adding a few dots with my quickie glue pen, just here and there. Just give that a little bit of opulence to that card. Don't be too regimented. Once you start thinking about it too much, you get too precise and that really doesn't work. There we go. So we'll just give that a few seconds. I can see already the dots are clear and it should be tacky. I'm then going to make a complete mess with my gold leaf, which is what I always do. I always find when you're just using dots of Quickie glue pen, it's better if you don't get too thicker pieces of gold leaf, because obviously it's going on to fine pieces of Quickie glue pen and it doesn't work. So I don't get the pieces too thick. And don't forget, you're just adding little bits to your card. Let's get another piece. I end up with more stuck to my hand than anywhere else. And whoever you're sending it to, it just gives it a little bit of shimmer and shine, and gives it a little bit of that opulence touch. I'm sure I put a little bit on the top of the bauble, didn't I? Let's just tap that off. Just place that back in my container. Waste not, want not. And then we'll just give that a little bit of a polish. It's the only polishing I want to do just lately. So just soften my kitchen roll, and I'm just going to give that a little bit of a polish. Let me show you, just so you can see it's got a lovely touch of gold on there. Just gives that little, look at that, just a little touch of opulence. It just looks beautiful, just beautiful. And then I'm going to take, let's grab, where have you gone? I'm just going to take a little bit of this ink. Let's make sure, so I'm going to take a little bit of Twisted Citron, which I've got Twisted Citron, water and gold leaf. Nice mixture. Just plonk it on the floor and I'll hoover it up later, she says. So let's just... The only reason I'm cleaning my brush is I've got bits of every colour under the sun. So I'm going to take a little bit of that Twisted Citron, a little bit of water, just a tiny bit of water. I'm just going to add a little bit of shading just around here. Just clean that off now and just blend that out. So this time, you know, I normally add a little shadow with grey, but this time I'm adding a little bit of shadow with the Twisted Citron. So I'm then going to, let's just spritz that with water. And then we'll just add a few little splatters of the Twisted Citron. And you're going for a very classy look. Let's just clean those up. So just clean that up a little bit. Let me move that out of the way. And then we just want our gel pen. We'll grab our gel pen. Just add some little touches of white to our bird. And you can always add some white as well with your gel pen. You can add touches of white with the colour. The thing is, that colour isn't very dry yet, so you need to be aware of that. What I will do is I will take this now. This is still a little bit wet. Let that dry a little bit before we do that. And let's add a mat. So this is our mat. So let's take our card. So this is the layer that we're going to mat onto. And shall we use the mowed lawn? And we'll use the mowed lawn to do our mat and layer. So this is what we'll see underneath our card. I very rarely sort of do a black layer for my Christmas makes. There we go. You could pick that ink up again with another card, so that you don't waste it. You could pick that up with another card. I'm then going to use one card, and I'm already in a mess. I'm going to use the peacock feathers. So let's pick up the peacock feathers. And I'm using the same cut and dry foam, but I just want a little bit of the peacock feathers just around the edge. There we go. And again, you could mop that up with an extra piece of card and create another background. I'm just going to spritz that with water, just so that the ink isn't just sitting on the surface, and we'll let that do its thing and clean up again. I'm going to leave that on a flat surface somewhere because I don't want it curling up. And then I'm going to take, I think a lot of it's dried now, it's not as soaking wet now. I'm going to use my Posca pen just to add some splatters of white as well. And I've put that mask over there so that the splatters are just within the bauble, just so that you can see that, isn't it? I just think that's gorgeous. We'll let that mat just dry a little bit. And the one stamp I put away yesterday I now need. So let's have stamp set 455. I could either use December or I can use winter. So I'll use that winter. Need a scrap of card. So what we've done is we've used our stamps and made something seasonal without buying Christmas stamps. Just to show how versatile stamps can be. Just because somebody names it Scarecrow or somebody names it Leaves doesn't mean it can't be used for loads of different makes. I don't want that. So I'm going to use my Verdant on there, and then I'm going to use my Shady Lane, and then I'm going to stamp that out. It doesn't need much pressure, it's just a word, it doesn't need much pressure at all. And I've got a two-tone sentiment because I added the Verdant at the top and the Shady Lane at the bottom. Just cut that out. I love making seasonal makes, especially when, you know, they're not specifically designed as seasonal stamps. I love sort of checking and testing them out to see if they'll work. I just love it. Makes me happy. I'm just going to distress that a little bit. Now I'm using the edge of scissors. Now please be careful when you're using the edge of scissors. If you've got a paper distresser, that's great. As I'm using the scissors, I just have to give that warning that scissors are sharp and we just need to be careful. So I'm just distressing. There we go. Let's bring that in. And then I'm just going to add a little bit of the colour, and I can use my brush because that will just add a little fine touch of colour. There we go. And then it's up to you where you want to put the winter. You see, it goes, I don't know whether I want it there. Probably going to be there. Play around with where you want it, because I still want to see the flow of leaves. I still want to see the gold I've added. So yes, it's going there. And apart from the sentiment, there's nothing that's dimensional, and the sentiment doesn't need to be dimensional. The sentiment can be flat, so therefore there we go. So just add that there. And everything is flat. There's no dimension on there if you want to send your Christmas cards and you don't want them to be two-dimensional. But that is using stamps that say nothing about being seasonal. Just absolutely love that. So now we can add that to our matte and layer. And I just spritzed that so that that concentrated colour just wasn't lying on the top. I'm not going to dry it with the heat tool. I'll let it dry of its own accord. So let's add that to our matte. I've got gold leaf everywhere. There we go. Let's place that down. So the card I worked on was 4 by 6. The mat is 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. Now you've got moisture in that back layer. So just spend a couple of minutes just making sure that mat and layer is stuck down. And it's a nice flat card. There's no dimension, so easy to send in the post. And then if we add that to a 5 by 7 card blank, I think that is so classy, really classy. So we'll now just add to our 5 by 7 card blank, like so. I always get sort of one edge right first, and then I can fix the others. And if we look at that, I think that is really, really classy. A nice little seasonal make that just works beautifully, simply, with nothing, not a single stamp that says Christmas. And I absolutely love that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Can't wait to see your interpretation. Love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.